happy to have today one of our guests, the chairman of the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors, Sharon Bulova. And welcome, Sharon, again to Greenspring. And we're looking forward to having a conversation about some exciting things and maybe some troubling things going on in the county.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here with you today, and I'm looking forward to sharing some of the things that are going on in Fairfax County. What
was your hot button before you left the office today? If you're allowed to say.
The hot button today, I guess transportation, actually the I-66 project, which is not a county project but a state project. They're the ones who are designing what kind of a project is it going to be. Is it going to be a P3, which means that the private sector helps with the financing, or is it going to be something else where we a design build, where we work with the state or a private sector organization works with the state to do the design and then to do the construction. And then there's also the opportunity, perhaps just like with the 495 Hot Lanes project, where a private organization does the operation of the road as well. So we'll see.
There's so many pieces to something like that.
Yes, there are.
Because of all the different organizations and industries and everything have to be involved.
And there's a lot of interest in the corporate community in working with the state, working with the county on a project of this size. And the state right now is making the business case for whether or not to use public funding or financing, or to do a project like the 495 and 95 project, where the tolls were paid to the private company, and then that paid them back for their financing the project up front.
Yeah.
It's a matter of making the business case for which is the better option for the taxpayers of Virginia.
Sure. So part of that transportation thing might be whether they really decide to put the FBI out here, huh? Not on Route 66, but
not on I-66, but that definitely is. Is
there anything new on that?
Something that's new is that working with Supervisor Jeff McKay, who represents the Springfield area,
our district.
Yes, and he and I work together on making a case for why the Springfield GSA site is the better option for commuting time. So we tested about 20 different locations in Maryland, Washington, D.C., and in Virginia, and found that in all of those cases, the commute to the GSA site, whether you were driving in a car or whether you're taking transit, is shorter. And so there is definitely a time advantage.
Where is that located exactly?
The GSA site right now are warehouses, and they're located right next to the Springfield-Franconia Metro station. So if you're driving around in that area and you see some low-slung warehouse buildings, that's what the GSA site is.
Wow, that would be handy for Metro workers.
It's handy for Metro. It's also on the VRE, the Virginia Railway Express. It's right off the Beltway. So we think we've got everything going for us.
Well, that's interesting. And that would be a good thing if they came here.
That would be a great thing. Not only would it be nice to have the FBI here, the headquarters here, but what it really does is to attract other businesses that want to be located close to the FBI headquarters. So it's a revitalization opportunity, redevelopment, revitalization would help to stimulate the economy, especially in the Springfield area.
Well, that sounds exciting.
It is exciting.
I hope it works.
Just knock on wood that we're chosen.
Who makes that decision?
The federal government, the GSA, General Services Administration,
Sure.
are the ones working with the FBI officials to review proposals that have been made by both Maryland and Virginia regarding sites. So Maryland
Does GSA own those buildings already?
So yes, and actually that's really not a conflict. It's just that the General Services Administration is the organization within the federal government that's responsible for purchasing and responsible for the acquisition or making decisions regarding the location of federal buildings.
Sure, sure. You've done that with the archives and other
Exactly.
things. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so what else can we talk about with you here today?
So, well, actually, let me talk about the most exciting and happy thing that is on our front burner right now. In just a couple of weeks, between the dates of June the 26th through July 5th, Fairfax County will be hosting the World Police and Fire Games. For anybody who enjoys the Olympics, this essentially is a Olympics for public safety, hosted here in Fairfax County.
Wow.
So we expect to have somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 athletes from all over the world, and they are coming from about 70 different countries. The Athletes Village will be in Reston Town Center, but the venues for the different sporting events will be all over Fairfax County. So we'll have swimming, there will be soccer, baseball,
field and track,
the ultimate firefighter, boxing, canine competitions. So there's
the public can attend these events
for free.
They have to get tickets, for free.
For free.
Really?
And actually, that's a requirement in order to host the World Police and Fire Games. All of the events are free, including the kickoff ceremony, which will be at RFK Stadium.
Wow.
You do have to get a ticket,
sure,
but it's complimentary.
For seating.
That's right.
Just
so they know. And the closing ceremony will be at Wolf Trap, and that'll be a lot of fun.
Wow.
It's
exciting.
It's really going to be really
Now, is this
fun.
the first time Fairfax has ever hosted them?
This is the first time that Fairfax has ever hosted these games. They are worldwide. So 2 years ago, the games are held every other year. They were held in Belfast, Northern Ireland. The next time the games are held, they'll be in Montreal, Canada. After that, they'll be in China. So we feel very, very fortunate to have been able to
Now,
to
we
get
have
the games.
some of our local athletes, and
Absolutely.
they all have to be police or firefighters.
Police officers, firefighters, TSA, transportation folks, corrections, so sheriff's deputies, everyone who is, actually in public safety, either actively or retired, can participate in the games.
Oh, how exciting. I hope we get lots of coverage so we can...
We will. We'll have our Channel 16 will be covering it, but I think it's also NBC 4, I believe, that will be covering some of the competition.
I'll have to talk to the special trips person here and see if they're going to run any special trip buses out there.
That would be a blast. That would be
some
great.
of our residents can go,
Well, if you go to the website, first of all, if you go to the county website, you can click on World Police and Fire Games, or you can Google World Police and Fire Games, and it takes you right to their website. And if you click on sporting events, this is just newly designed. It will bring up all of the sporting events.
It would be the dates and the venues
and all that business. Location, directions, all of those things.
How fun.
It'll be a blast.
That's great.
It'll be a blast.
A lot of people in my family are firefighters, and so that's fun.
That's great.
They don't all live in Maryland, however.
That's great. Anyway. Well, this is a big deal for Fairfax County, and we feel very fortunate that we'll have the opportunity to showcase our excellent public safety capabilities. I think people just were watching as our USAR team, our urban search and rescue team, responded to the earthquakes in Nepal.
Absolutely.
So we really have a great team.
Yeah. Well, that's real exciting for our county to do that. So there are some other things you do that are that the county does. I suppose the Board of Supervisors that offer us opportunities. Their music programs.
Yes, yes. Actually, we started, I guess, around 95. It started with Supervisor Penny Gross in the Mason District, and then I picked up on it, and other supervisors replicated concerts in the parks throughout the summer. And so, and that also is free to the public, and it's a chance to enjoy our parks while enjoying some fantastic entertainment.
Right.
At the Government Center, I started something called the Evenings on the Ellipse. And the Ellipse is the backyard of the Government Center. It's beautiful. And so we actually have our two wineries, Bull Run Winery and Paradise Springs Winery, that do tastings while people are listening to music. And we also have a farmer's market at the Government Center. But these are all over the county.
And again, I'm sure the website has those dates and who's entertaining.
Yes, indeed.
What the other things are.
Yes.
And those are free to come to them.
Those are free.
Maybe the wine tasting costs something.
And the wine tasting is also free. And let me tell you, they're a little bit generous with their their samples.
So people start to enjoy the music more as the night goes on. Is that
And the wine is great.
Oh, that's great.
We also have some on the serious side. Some of the things that Fairfax County and I personally am focusing on, and there's been media attention to public safety, the response of police officers, especially to people who are mentally ill, and people who then become incarcerated, who have a mental illness. And
well, that big article that was just in the paper yesterday about this.
Yes, and the gentleman who wrote that article is actually on a commission that I created called an Ad Hoc Police Practices Commission, and he is on the subcommittee that's looking at crisis intervention and mental health. And so we're actually really exploring quite seriously programs and facilities that we can create in Fairfax County that can divert people from becoming involved in the criminal justice
so they're not,
arena and get the treatment and the help that they need to stabilize themselves and then, avoid incarceration.
Well, so many of these issues of late, like any of the police issues, and, we've seen so much of it in the news and everything. And when I read that article yesterday, I thought I hope we can do something like that.
Right.
Not only for taxpayers' money business, but because for the people that isn't where they belong in jail.
To treat people humanely and sensitively.
Right.
Mental illness is an illness, and we should treat it that way, and we should have programs and services to be able to humanely respond to someone who is having a crisis.
Right.
So our police officers are being trained in CIT, crisis intervention training, and as are some of the sheriff's deputies at the jail. And I'm working with Sheriff Stacy Kincaid, who absolutely is committed to making some improvements in diversion for people who end up getting in trouble and are mentally ill.
Right. You know what? We have about 2 minutes, and I wanted to give you every opportunity. I know that you're aware of our scholarships here that we give to a lot of students who live in this county, and
yes,
you
and
recognize that. The county recognizes
Let
that.
me say thank you to Greenspring for providing scholarships to students, worthy students. I just think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
It's a wonderful
for the
project.
residents of Greenspring to do for our young people. And actually, the Board of Supervisors had Greenspring before us to thank you,
yes,
and also to wish you a happy anniversary.
Yes, yes, that all happened last year, didn't
yes,
it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I saw it in the local, the Erickson papers and stuff.
Right. Right.
Our public relations officer took care of that.
Greenspring is a great community. It really is.
It is. I've been here 12 years, I think. Sometimes I get mixed up how many years I've been here. But I wouldn't trade it. It's just,
a great lifestyle.
I feel so privileged to live here, and the kind of benevolent work that goes on here.
Right.
Is really important. I'm part of the Greenspring Players here, and we do scholarships every year to George Mason students in the field of theater.
Oh, that's wonderful.
We do that we've been doing it now for about 6 or 7 years. So
that's
the ticket
fantastic.
sales for our show, our $5 tickets, So what else do you want to end us with here today?
Let me just say that Fairfax County is a great county. We always have our challenges. We're recovering more slowly than ordinarily we would from the recession that we have experienced, and so it's more important than ever for us to work with the school system and to work with our constituents to make sure that we are right-sizing our services and programs for the revenue stream that is not as robust as it was maybe some years ago, and to do so in a way that makes sure that it maintains the quality of life that people appreciate, and the school system that people appreciate and that our community relies upon. So we can do this. So we'll.
So when is your term up?
Actually, I was also going to mention that this is an election year.
Is it this year?
It is this year.
My.
And so this year, everyone on the Board of Supervisors or all seats on the Board of Supervisors are up for election.
Okay.
So including Supervisor Jeff McKay and myself, and all state. So all the members of the General Assembly and the sheriff and the clerk to the court. So, and frankly, this is the greatest place to be on election day. I think that Greenspring has something like a 99.5% turnout.
Yeah, we're a generation. I work at the polls, and I just love doing it. And I didn't realize though that all the terms were up this year.
Right.
Time flies.
Time flies.
Seems like you just got elected.
I just feels that way for me too.
Thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. We'll see you all later.